if the Democrats clean the clock and they take the Senate and they take the House by a big number, the market's not going to like that. We can all think of what we want as President Trump as the man, but there's also President Trump, the agenda, and the stock market very much likes his agenda. And to the extent that that's threatened, it's going to be a negative for the markets.
Do you agree with that, David?
Well, first of all, I don't think that's a likely outcome. I think it's either going to be the Republican sweep or the Democrats take the House. I'm not sure how this plays out in terms of the stock market. I mean, if the Republicans sweep, I think you're going to see more fiscal stimulus. That means higher interest rates. It means a higher dollar. In the short run, yes, that's going to pump up the economy. But if the stock market's looking forward, more sugar today may mean more of a sugar crash later. So I think it's kind of a mixed message for the stock market. The one thing we know, though, is by tomorrow, hopefully, there's less uncertainty. And markets usually like less uncertainty. That's why we normally rally through an election. So I think that is a positive. But I think figuring out how the stock market's going to react to the result is actually pretty tricky.
David, do you think these results have implications for what the president does with his meeting with President Xi coming up and the broader trade question?
Yes, I do. I mean, I think he will retain the ability to make policy basically on immigration and trade anyway. I think he will feel emboldened if there is a Republican sweep to play it tougher on trade for the moment. I think if you put more stimulus into the economy, then the U.S. economy can deal with the pain from a slowdown in the global economy caused by tariff war. So maybe you get a bigger tariff war if you have a Republican sweep. But I think if the president looks forward to 2020, the issue is, midterms are about getting out the base. The 2020 general elections are generally more about getting out the middle or appealing to the middle. So he's going to need to have a strong economy in 2020. And over time, a trade war will have a very corrosive effect, not just on the global economy, but on the U.S. economy. I think he will need to think about that also.
Steve, you mentioned that the market likes the Trump agenda. No question, we've seen that. What's left in there? I mean, do you really think that they're looking at passing an infrastructure bill with so much money being spent right now and the deficit widening to these levels?
Well, I think there's the possibility of some infrastructure legislation. It probably won't be the full boat that he was talking about prior to his election. Clearly we need to have some changes in immigration laws. We need some kind of comprehensive reform there. And I think that's going to be more easily done if the Republicans control the Senate and the House. The problem with the Senate, though, is you're not going to have 60 Republican senators. That's an outcome I don't see happening. So, but it still makes it a smoother path to get certain things passed. So, yeah, and certainly I don't think the market wants to see the agenda threatened or the agenda stopped. I don't know how negative that would truly be, but it certainly would not be a positive. And one other point I want to make very briefly, we may not know tonight. If the House elections are close, there's going to be quite a few districts that it may go to recounts, have litigation involved. Not all 435 congressional districts will be resolved tonight. So if this is a super close election, you're going to have some uncertainty in the fact that we're not going to know how, say, 5 or 6 seats turns out, which could hold the balance of power.